You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gaffman.
Hey, welcome to episode 45. We have Kyla Simone, a singer-songwriter out of Conyers, Georgia. How are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good.
Good.
We were just talking kind of off air about, hey, conversation on a Friday night. You know,
Yes.
it's this new format of, I guess the whole pandemic shutdown gave it to us of being able to call people on video and have a conversation or an interview. It's really, I think, opened up the door to to our art form. Um,
Absolutely.
but good to see you. And again, full disclosure, you and I will be
hmm
doing a show November
Okay.
18th.
Yay.
Yeah, we're going to be in Sweetwater Bar and Grill in Lawrenceville,
hmm
Georgia. And there's going to be a great lineup: Smoochie Face, Sweet Soul Sister,
hmm
Shayla McDaniel, and yourself. Um, how did you get into music in the first place, and want to do original music? What when you were a
hmm
kid? How did it all
Yeah.
start?
So like a lot of artists and musicians, I did grow up in a musical family.
Oh, nice.
So I was just around it all the time. We started, of course, out in church, and so I sang a lot with groups and things like that. But even at a young age, I had a best friend. Her name was Takar, and we used to stay up and write songs together, like just little silly things or whatever. And I remember in high school, like recording a little album with one of my best friends there. And it was just, talking about boys and, all of that kind of like cheesy stuff. But that was kind of where it started, where I started to develop this idea that I wanted to be an artist. And
Yeah,
I signed with a couple of local labels at the time, just independent music labels and stuff.
yeah.
And, just kind of honed my craft when I was living in Maryland. And I just did that for many years. I just sang wherever the opportunities opened up for me to do it.
Yeah.
In 2005, just before I went away to college, my mom bought me a guitar, my
Nice.
first guitar, because she had seen me, I and my brother, because my
Yeah.
brother is a guitarist.
Oh, okay.
So she bought me a guitar, and it was my gift for when I went away to college.
Nice.
And immediately I picked it up, and within that day, I had written my first song. Guitar is I think that it's one of the easiest instruments that you can just kind of self start, like pick
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
learn a couple chords, couple of chords on
Didn't it hurt
YouTube,
your
and
didn't it hurt your fingers at first?
it did.
Yeah.
Very painful. I don't know how I got through it, but I did.
Yeah. Was it
Eventually,
acoustic guitar or
it
electric?
was an acoustic Yamaha,
Yeah, so
a Yamaha guitar.
that'll break your fingers in,
Yes,
pretty quick.
nice hard thick strings.
Yeah, they're coarse.
Before I knew about gauges.
Yeah, sure,
But
sure.
but yeah, that's how I started on guitar, and I didn't put it down. It was the thing that I think helped me hone this particular style of music that I do, which is more of an acoustic soul,
Yeah,
acoustic
yeah,
R&B. So I started out doing faith based. I've now evolved into doing more R&B
yeah.
music. I still do some inspirational here and there, but mostly like love music and
Yeah.
relationship. I keep everything clean and positive.
Positive.
um yeah,
That's
yeah.
it's important.
hmm
There's plenty of people doing, you know, edgy. We'll just say edgy music
hmm
and lyrics and stuff like that. But
hmm
it's harder but more fulfilling to do clean stuff for everybody, and
hmm
nobody's offended. Hey,
yeah,
let's keep
yeah,
it. Let's drop back a couple of things you said
yeah.
earlier.
Okay.
How many brothers and sisters and how many musicians were in your
Oh
family? How
goodness.
big was the family?
So a lot of musicians. I have three siblings.
Yep.
So two of them live in North Carolina.
What
So
part?
my sister,
What?
Charlotte,
Okay. Yeah.
in Huntersville.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister, she plays. Well, she doesn't really play. She picked up guitar for a little bit, but she's a music artist, a singer, a songwriter. She dances. She's just very creative, and she also works on the music admin side as well. She helps with like publishing and stuff for different artists and
Okay,
things.
let's stop on that one for a second.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
that's got to be very helpful for you to kind of go, okay, I have somebody to help me finish the path. It's important to publish, self-publish
Mhm.
with your own
Mhm.
publishing company,
Mhm.
copyright, your own copyright.
Yep.
Own your stuff so you don't end up in a Taylor Swift situation
Yes.
where you've got to re-record a whole catalog of music.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
but anyway, did she was she helpful to steer you into the publishing and you got to get on Spotify and all
Well,
that stuff.
not really, because me and my sister, growing up, we were actually, because of the dynamics of our family, um, her and my brother, my younger brother, they had moved away
Yeah,
at a young age. And so we really have, I guess, grown into our relationship a little bit older in life.
sure.
So most of my experience with like publishing and stuff came really through trial and error, being
Oh,
an independent music artist.
okay.
And I just learned how to do copyrights and all of those things. Whether I started out filling them out correctly or not,
I
I
know,
don't
right?
know.
I know.
But but both my sister and I are very administrative and
Right.
that kind of thing. But now as adults, she is somebody that I can go to and just say, am I doing this
Yeah.
properly or
Sh-
whatever? Because she
yeah.
has a good experience.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is, like we talked about before on the show, is, um, you know, d- do I need a lawyer? Do I,
Hmm.
you know, you should treat as an artist, if you're really serious about this thing and going down the path of recording professional records
Hmm.
and publishing them to the internet, making videos, all the whole thing. Um, you, treat it as a business, a small business
Yeah.
that you need. Get the LLC.
Hmm.
Copyright all your stuff, have all your files, have everything organized. And I'm
Hmm.
saying this, I don't necessarily do it that well, but
Hmm.
it is important to protect your stuff and but it sure is fun. So she played. You said your brother was a guitar player.
My brother, my younger brother is he plays drums,
Oh, okay.
and then but he plays more so like almost like kind of like that marching band, that sort
Yeah,
of drill.
yeah, yeah.
He's so talented, and he
Drum
has like
corps.
all of these. Yeah, he has all these videos out that he did to popular like top 40 music and
Yeah.
stuff. He's really amazing and talented, and he's
Is he
also taught
is he in
young
Atlanta?
people.
Is that is
He's in Charlotte.
okay? Gotcha.
Yeah. My older brother, he lives back home in Maryland.
Okay.
He plays guitar and he's done production and like he's just all around just a
Yeah.
musical like person.
Yeah.
So all of us in some way dabble in music, but my dad is a professional guitarist.
Gotcha.
So we kind of all got it from him. And
Yeah.
then I grew up with my mom playing piano. She used to play and sing for herself at churches. I was
Sure.
getting dragged to
Yeah.
rehearsals and
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
all of that. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. The big thing when I was growing up, my dad was a piano player, organist, and I remember going to, and I was a kid. I'm talking about 4 or 5 years old, and
Hmm.
he would tune the pianos in the afternoon, um, and then have a show that night, and
Hmm.
I would get drugged to the piano tunings, and and basically sound check. They would run.
Hmm.
After that they would jam, and I would literally fall asleep underneath the foot pedals, watching his feet go up and down.
Oh,
That's a memory
that's
I
so
have.
cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
So Dad plays professionally. What style of music is he? Somebody we would know? What any bands?
he plays like he lives in Martha's Vineyard now.
Nice.
He used to play with a lot of different groups and stuff in the DMV, the Maryland, DC, Virginia area.
Yeah.
But he has been living in Martha's Vineyard for some time now. So he plays mostly now, like for different churches and stuff. And every now and then people might fly him out for different gigs and stuff. But he plays the electric guitar as well as acoustic,
Yeah.
but mainly electric. And he
Yeah.
plays, I mean, my dad plays everything from rock to blues,
Gotcha.
to soul. He's very versatile
What's
in
his
his
name?
sound.
I'll look
His
him
name
up.
is Paris.
Uh-huh.
Paris Hayden.
I'll definitely look him up. Martha's Vineyard.
Mhm.
That's got to be a nice visit. Hey, Dad,
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking about coming up like once a month. Actually,
Right? Wouldn't that be nice? I haven't
actually,
even been there yet, but
yeah,
I plan to go visit him. But yeah, him and his wife own a vacation spot there.
nice.
And so they run and operate that kind of like a Airbnb type of style.
That's kind of like a lot of people's retirement dream.
Hmm.
It's either get in an RV and just drive around the country and see things
Hmm.
you've never seen,
Yeah.
or do the Airbnb type bed and breakfast. Um,
Hmm.
and that sounds kind of fun.
I'm telling you,
Martha,
having property is important.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's a good point actually. Um,
Hmm.
and then and upgrading your property after you get it.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
improvements always pay off in the end.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Martha's Vineyard. And I don't know why we're on that kick, but that's a little bit more north, so
Hmm.
that can't be a nice climate all year. I would imagine the best
Hmm.
summertime, best.
No, they get cold. They get
Yeah,
nice cold weather
yeah,
out
that's what I
there,
thought.
and they're on the water too. So
Sure,
yeah,
you got
yeah,
wind.
I'm sure it gets
you
yeah.
Now you got wind chill. Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
sure
Uh,
they get snow like the best of
yeah,
them.
yeah. Well, that's awesome. So, when did you move to Atlanta?
Mhm.
And did you come here for the music scene?
I did. So I moved right around the
Oh
pandemic.
boy.
Right, a good solid year into the pandemic. I moved here in 2021. Um, I moved here one so that I could purchase my first house.
Yeah.
The cost of living in Maryland is astronomical, and I knew that that was not going to be possible for me financially.
Sure.
And so I started looking in Atlanta because I knew that it was a great place for what I wanted to build here musically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just went out on a limb, started talking to a loan officer. They told me what I qualified for, all of that kind of stuff. Started house hunting. It
Yep.
was a bit of a journey,
Yeah.
but I was able to find a great property that I'm going to be actually turning into an investment property at some point. But
Yeah.
um, that's essentially what I did. And I just came here and hit the ground running. I started doing open mics,
Yep.
and that led to me getting booked for different gigs. Now I'm kind of in a season where things are shifting over to other areas, such as I'm singing a little bit with cover bands,
Yep.
which is something super recent that I've started doing. And
Yeah.
then
Is
um,
that kind of
mhm,
out of necessity? Because yeah,
partly
the
yes.
original
Hmm.
Music Act is
Hmm.
it's a hard sell. You know.
It's it can be, and the thing that I've gotten to in recent years is doing music because I love it.
Yep.
Because from a financial standpoint and being very very realistic,
Yeah.
it really doesn't at this stage
Yeah.
pay the bills.
Well, yeah.
That's just
That's
the
I
reality.
I have always found that um, I spend 17 times more than I make to play
Hmm.
music. With
Just on recording a song,
yeah, yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
recording songs, having the equipment to record songs.
Yeah.
It's just an endless investment and
Hmm.
I have a little bit of a problem with guitars. I like them. I like how they look,
I
so I
know.
buy them. And so
Yeah.
it's like I have too many guitars, but I like them.
I
you know.
have the same problem.
Um, well,
Mhm.
that's a good point. I mean, obvious music is not my day job. I'm a ice hockey
Mhm.
instructor. So
Oh, nice.
I coach little kids and I steal all their little
Mhm.
youthful energy
Oh,
and then at night I play music until way
nice.
too late or write or do podcasts or
Mhm.
anything creative. That's the biggest
Yeah.
thing for me is I have to get that out.
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, were you in a creative mode or were you in a panic? Oh, what am I going to do mode?
Mm. I was in creative mode. There was a little bit of, I wouldn't say panic, but it was just sort of like, oh gosh, what is the future of
Yeah.
music going to actually look like? But at the same token, there were a lot of great opportunities that opened up,
Yeah.
because people were looking to fill they were looking to connect with and bring on talent on a virtual level.
Yeah.
So I think that opens you up to being seen on more of a universal platform because anybody can log online.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. And then with I have an initiative called Girls and Guitars, and we were hosting some online showcases featuring all female singer songwriter guitarists. So we were doing that for a while. We had a little series going because before we were doing live shows,
Yeah.
and so we kind of shifted, with
Well,
the
you
times.
had to, and
Yeah,
everybody had to learn Zoom, some sort of a
it
internet
was
presence.
funny. It was crazy. Like we
Yeah.
were struggling,
Yeah. Yeah. And
trying
learn
to,
and learning at the same
yes,
time.
and still struggling
Yeah,
sometimes.
sure, sure. Well, every struggle hopefully is a learning opportunity.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, but yeah.
Performing in those, um, in the online thing where it's just you and your
Mhm.
band or just you by yourself, you're like, and when you play live, if you bang out and you kill a song at the end of it, they'll let you know, okay, you're doing a good job, which makes you have more energy to go and do your best on the next one, and crowd
Mhm.
claps. And uh, without that, in that sterile environment of basically a TV studio,
Mhm.
that's what I found tough. Was it hard to just perform on camera?
I don't think so. It was kind of fun. It was nice. It was more okay. So I'm a little bit like I have my moments where I'm a little more introverted.
Okay,
I'm kind of like an introverted
sure,
extrovert, I guess,
yeah,
because I can socialize, like and I love people and that kind of thing.
yeah,
But I do have introvert tendencies, so I felt kind of comfortable and cozy
yeah,
being able to just being in the comfort of my home and you know
yeah.
I could have on pajamas below.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It was just, yeah. So I think that it made me, once I was able to do a nice little
Right.
setup for
Yeah,
myself that I felt comfortable with and I
yeah.
had practiced with.
That's the
It
key.
was cool.
Yeah.
It was
You have
fun.
to set up a studio like when we first
Hmm.
before we got on the air. Yeah, as soon as
Hmm.
the image came up, you're like, oh no, I need more light. I got to get my run.
Yeah,
Those are the type things that I think a lot of people learn during that, especially artists, because you had to kind of do that.
I had to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so not all was bad during the pandemic.
No,
I put together a whole bunch of stuff. I worked
nice,
my butt off during the pandemic.
nice.
Um, so you came here in 2021 and
Hmm.
started getting your gigs. Um, was that downtown? Where were you mainly getting gigs, or all over?
Definitely a lot of Atlanta.
Yeah,
And then like different areas. I mean, I've been to Marietta. I've
yeah,
been out to. I actually played guitar for a little while at a church in Austell for about almost a year.
sure.
Um, like I've just, yeah, wherever they
Yeah,
call me,
yeah, yeah. You go where
wherever
you
they
got to
call
go.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been out to Tallulah Falls.
Oh
I
yeah,
performed all the way
that's
out there.
north. Yeah.
I did a full concert out there, so that was pretty cool.
Now, when you play, is it you on acoustic? Is it you with some tracks? Is it you with a band? What am I going to see on the 18th when I play with
Yeah.
you?
So on the 18th, you're going to see just me.
Okay.
It'll be me and my guitar. It depends upon what kind of an event it is. If it's a much larger, like and longer set,
Yeah.
let's say like an hour, 2 hours or something,
Yeah. You
I'll probably bring in a couple of musicians. So that make I have two guys that I love to use,
yeah.
Justin and Elliot. Justin is a guitarist. This Justin Dallasay. He is a guitarist and he also plays bass
Sure.
and he also plays percussion.
Mhm.
So we've been able to build sets where we flip flop because sometimes
Yeah.
I like to play a little percussion.
Yeah.
And he'll jump from bass to
Sure.
guitar and
Uh,
we'll just kind of make it work.
a
Um,
multi
mhm.
instrumentalist. If you
Yeah.
can hire those guys,
Listen.
yeah, get those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also Elliot,
Yep.
he is a percussionist, so he's really talented.
Okay.
So
So do you
yeah.
do two percussion? Like, do you have two percussion setups in that, or do you have a drummer, the drum kit, and then
Um
percussion?
so if Elliot was there, then it would just be him on percussion, and then Justin would just stick with guitar and bass
Gotcha.
for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when it's just me and Justin, we just set up the instruments in a way where we can kind of organize, switch and swap, different things. If we have to flip flop guitars or just something like that, then we,
Yeah.
try to set that up.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, do you ever have play tracks along, or do you do any looping? Do you understand I don't.
Um,
I I've
yeah.
I've tried the looping thing, and I just don't.
It's hard.
I'd
I
rather record it and go that route.
I have a head rush. My head rush has a looper option on it. I'm
Yeah.
still playing around with it because I just got the head rush like earlier this year. So I'm still kind of playing around with it, and I'm like I got to get it right and feel
Yeah.
comfortable before I actually do it in public. So I don't like to do tracks because I like the flexibility of being able to for my songs to breathe in different spots and do
Yeah.
different dynamics that allow, and you can't do that with a track. You have to stick with a rigid, like,
Yeah,
you
and you
know.
almost can't do it with a looper unless you have a big expensive looper with
Hmm.
multi capabilities and start and stop, so you can do boom a dynamic drop,
Exactly.
boom kick it back in kind of thing.
Hmm.
That kind of gives it more of that live feel that you're talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So that's cool. That's a
Hmm.
that's a good size band. A three piece. If if you can pull it off with a three piece, do it with a three piece.
Yeah.
For the one reason alone that you don't have six people's schedules to work around. Everybody's
Yeah.
busy.
Hmm.
If the only night to rehearse is Tuesday, somebody in that six or five
Hmm.
or four
Yeah.
is not going to be able to do that Tuesday. You know?
Yeah. And the other thing, I'm still growing here in Atlanta. I'm still building my brand here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so, the gigs aren't really paying
Nothing.
enough for me. I've
Yeah.
had to pay out of pocket a lot
Sure.
of times
Absolutely.
for artists, and that just gets to be a lot. So I've been trying to find ways to sort of, and I've really been being more diligent to learn my instrument and to be able to play a good solid 1 hour set all by myself.
That's a big one.
Um, yeah, so I just did what is the name of that? The
Yeah.
Candler Park Festival, and I
Yeah.
had a 1 hour show.
Wow.
And that was actually my first time doing the full 1 hour by myself.
Yeah.
I felt proud of myself because I really like worked hard to try to like, okay, we've got to build something that keeps interest
Yep.
and keeps going, and if
Yeah.
you can do this, then you at the minimal, you can rely on yourself to
Yeah.
be able to deliver.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the hardest thing when you do something like by yourself is you know you can tend to have too much time between songs or start
Hmm.
rambling about talking about
Yeah.
something too long. So sometimes when
It's
you have
true.
another bandmate or a duo or somebody else to say, all right, knucklehead, let's go.
Yeah, come on, let's keep it
Like, yeah.
going.
So we
I
can.
think
Yeah.
it's best to over plan for first off, plan out essentially what you're going to say, even though a lot of times, yeah, you're going to fly by the seat of your pants on
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
things because that's just,
Yeah.
more organic, but have a general idea of what you want to say and practice that out when you're performing by yourself.
Yeah.
Practice all of that stuff out so that you kind of like, and time yourself so that you're keeping
Yeah.
within, because there's
Yeah.
been times that I
Yeah.
have thought that
Yeah.
a certain number of songs were not gonna stretch, or I was nervous and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
how did I just fill all that time with these songs?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised at how a set will stretch. So,
Yeah. It's very important. It's a great point that you have to rehearse your transitions between songs, every song.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and okay, boom, this one we're going boom right into the next one. After the third, fourth song, okay, set up, break, set up for the next
mhm,
song, gives guitar players time to tune,
mhm,
and then boom, get going. You know, that
mhm.
will help eliminate the rambling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely. It's funny because I grew up so shy. And I did not, when I first started playing guitar, you couldn't pay me to introduce myself or
sure.
to talk in the beginning of
Yeah. Yeah.
in the beginning of having to sing or whatever. But now I enjoy it and I like to banter and have fun with the audience and that kind of thing. But you do have to be conscious of time, and also you want to
Yeah.
honor
The
the
stage.
people who hired you to
Yeah.
perform. You want
Yeah.
to honor the time that they've given you.
Yeah.
Just I just think that's important.
Well, do you know how long a set you're going to play on the 18th?
I unfortunately don't have those details.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
either.
just planning.
I don't
Yeah,
either.
I'm just planning for 30 to 45 minutes as a just in case. If
Yeah.
it's 15, 20 minutes, then I'll be prepared. But I'm
Yeah.
going to plan for worst case scenario, just in case.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good. Always a good play. That, and
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize how much thought and preparation goes into
Mhm.
the smallest of show, one
Mhm.
person, to you two in the Las Vegas sphere right now.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
massive amounts of thought have gone into that. Massive amounts of thought has gone into, okay, uh, how's my song order going to go? I got to have a flow. Which
Mhm.
guitar do I need for tunings? And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's so much thought process into doing
Yeah.
any gig, every gig.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's very, very true. Very true. And you should, I mean, as an artist, you should want to continue to grow and hone your craft. And each
yeah,
show, you should be considering how can I make it better? How can I
yeah,
level up? How can I make it even more interesting?
yeah.
We should be asking this to ourselves on a frequent
Every
basis.
show. Do you
Yeah.
film or record your shows for that
hmm
purpose?
I try to. Yep,
Yeah,
I try to. Sometimes it's hard depending on the venue and how things go from a time perspective.
yeah,
So I'll just, even if it's just me setting my camera up at the table,
yeah,
or if I have to take a tripod, whatever.
yeah,
If I don't have someone physically there to help me,
yeah.
then I just set it up. Just
The
even if it's just for me to get a couple of clips for social media, but
yeah.
mainly for me to, look
Study.
back
It's your study.
and
You have to study your
yeah.
film, and
hmm
that's why I asked, because I carry and this might be a camera. What kind of camera do you have that you bring out?
I just use my phone. I
Okay,
have an Android.
sure.
What is this? A Galaxy
Yeah,
Note 20.
yeah. Can you record an hour and a half show with that?
I can, as long as I clean it
Okay,
up
all right.
because I have so
Yeah,
much. And
sure.
I also have an iPad
Yeah,
that I bring with me sometimes, and I can record more
yeah.
on there.
Do you have a pen or paper there?
With me?
Yeah, something to write on right there,
Um, Let me
or just
see.
your phone.
Yes.
Grab, yeah, your phone and take this
Oh, I
note.
could grab. Yeah, I got my phone right here.
I want you to
Okay.
check out this camera. Everybody, check
Yeah.
out this camera. What I found, I'm using three of them in the studio right now, and it's a
Okay.
small little camera on a tripod but it's a Zoom
Mhm.
Q2N
Mhm.
4K.
2N
Yeah,
4K.
Zoom Q2N 4K, and it's about 150, $60. It will
Mhm.
record in 4K, but I record everything in 1080p because who needs to fill up that much space?
Mhm.
But anyway, it has a very wide angle lens,
Mhm.
and it has an incredible X pattern stereo mic system. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so you can set it up. You'll capture good audio, great audio,
Mhm.
and a nice wide shot. And
Mhm.
I just put a little SD card in it,
Mhm.
hit some batteries, and go. Um,
Nice.
so I capture every show for that reason.
Mhm.
So on Mondays, or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, when we get back together, we can look at it and study it.
Mhm.
You talked too much
Mhm.
there, or Ray, you played the wrong part there, or
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to me about Love You Already. I listened to the track
Oh.
and I really like this track. Um,
Oh, thank you.
how long ago did you write this, and how did you produce it, and how did it all come about?
Sure. I wrote it about a year ago. The song just basically came from, I was doing a lot of online dating and things.
Yeah, sure.
And I was just, I've been through a lot in the dating scene
Yeah.
and trying to find my guy.
Yeah, sure. That's a quest.
And Yeah, and I just realized like some of the behaviors I had allowed to happen that were not very uh it wasn't healthy for me.
Yeah,
And this song represents both what I'm looking for in a mate,
yeah,
but also what I want to offer and what I want to bring. It's a holistic approach,
yeah,
that, in a healthy relationship.
yeah,
And so Love You Already is basically just saying, I'm looking for this kind of a guy. I want to be this kind of a woman, and I love you already. Like
yeah.
I believe in the power of manifestation
Sure.
and the things that we say and put out into the world. And
Yeah.
yeah, and luckily
Yeah. Well, I think that's important.
found a nice
Yeah.
guy.
Another thing that's important is knowing, and establishing the boundaries and the guardrails.
Hmm.
You know, work within those, and
Yes.
it's gonna be hard to change anybody.
Yeah. It
So
should never be your objective to change a
exactly.
person.
Yeah.
Um, you can only be responsible for you and what you're bringing to the table. And then, like you said, you have to be the one to set those boundaries. And if
Yeah.
you're seeing things or experiencing things from a person that's organically who they are, that is beyond just simple conversations that you can have. Just say, "Hey, babe, I don't like
Yeah.
this," or "I don't like that."
Yeah.
That's one thing. But when it's toxic
Yeah.
type behavior, those are things that we have to be willing to walk away from
Yeah.
if it's not going to serve us.
I think in my past, the hardest thing was for me to pull the parachute, and
Mhm.
no, I knew I needed to pull it, about 1,500 feet ago, but the ground's coming up
Mhm.
close, and I waited till
Yeah.
800 feet and barely made it. That was that was my pattern.
Yes. Yes.
Well, let's check that song out. Love You
Okay,
Already.
perfect.
Love You
Yes.
Already from Kyla Simone. It's a killer track. Check it out.
Thank you.
I just want a man who sees me and loves me for who I am. He has no desire to change me. I am a treasure in his hands. He lifts me up, won't tear me down. My life gets lighter when he's around. He'll kiss my tears, provoke my smile, pursue my heart, and go that extra mile. I swear I love him already. 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 I wanna be the woman who knows you and brings a sense of peace into your life. I'm not trying to shape or mold you. I'll take you for who you are and won't think twice. No, I'll lift you up, won't tear you down. Hope life gets lighter when I'm around. I'll kiss your tears, provoke your smile, pursue your heart, and go that extra mile. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. Da 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 da. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. I love him, I love him, I love him. I don't even know him, but I'm crushing on him. My heart's so ready for him. I want him, I want him, I want him. My life isn't full, but I'm making space for him. My heart's so ready for him. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. I swear I love you already. Ba-da-ba-ba-da.
Yeah. I like that.
That's one of my favorite ones to play out.
Yeah, I would say that's a banger. I really
Thank you.
enjoyed a lot of things in that. The percussion uh, section, the percussion that was going on underneath that, and then when the bass
Mm-hmm.
came in, that bass was really nice and tight, and funky.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the big thing I got from that was the melodies, the harmonies that you're doing on
Mm-hmm.
that melody all the way through it, and then the color note that you end on
Mm-hmm.
is really really cool on that one.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so you said you recorded that in Charlotte.
In Charlotte. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
How was that
Mm-hmm.
process for you?
It was fun. We got in there, and the gentleman's name is Fix, Crazy Fix, and we hopped in there. I played the song for him on guitar, and immediately he hopped on the keyboard and started like
Yeah.
fleshing out, and he like just threw it together. Like
Yeah.
it came together so fast,
Yeah.
and then we hit the studio. Um, I went into the booth and started singing. He actually gave me the ideas for the vocal arrangement
Yeah.
for some of the harmonies and
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
which was really cool. And it just all came together really seamlessly. So yeah,
Yeah. That's
it was fun.
yeah. You know, the studio can be either daunting or refreshing. Like
Yes.
to be able to see a simple idea expand into a sonic piece is
Hmm.
awesome. To
Yeah.
sometimes get in there and just be like fighting it
Yes.
to make it work. That's not near as fun.
Exactly.
Um, are you planning on shooting any video? Have you done video like
I
concepts?
haven't. I have not, only because of the expense of doing it.
Yeah,
Um, this is the hard part about being an artist, and I know there's certain things that we need to do or an invest in. Um, you know, but it's just not where I am right now.
yeah, yeah,
you know so but eventually um I would love to shoot videos,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. It's a whole nother angle of the process of the art. You write a
Mhm.
song, you have an idea about what it's about, and now
Mhm.
you have to basically write a script
Yeah.
to either match what you're doing or actually counter, or it could be
Yeah.
abstract, it can be all over the place. uh,
Yeah.
the amount of time it comes into writing an idea, a part for the
Mhm.
video, shooting the video, doing the video edit. I just spent almost 18 months
Mhm.
mixing the audio for the video, and then editing the video, and then rendering it
Mhm.
down 7 times. It's
Yeah.
such a
I'm
long
a graphic
process.
designer, so I
Oh,
know,
nice.
yeah, that's my thing. So I know how that can be, um when you have to.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
took the liberty. I didn't have a logo for you to do. I need a couple of logos in the show here. So
Mhm.
I graphic designed a couple of logos for you. I'll send them to you
Oh, okay.
and see if
Oh,
if
cool.
you approve them. I'll use those. But yeah,
Okay, cool.
that's another angle of
Mhm.
creativity. I get
Mhm.
just not just as much joy as playing my guitar, but
Mhm.
editing and creating logos and graphics, and I kind of like that stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all around artsy fartsy because my mom is she's a graphic designer as well.
Hmm.
So a lot of my family members are. I mean, I grew up. My granddad was a carpenter, and
Yeah,
my uncles, did all of that kind of stuff, and he was a painter. And I have a picture that my granddad had painted. I think it's at my mom's house. Of it's of Christ, so it's a
yeah.
Christian picture of Christ, and like him
Hands.
praying and stuff.
Yeah,
But it was so well like done, and so it's yeah, I've got a lot of artsy fartsiness
that's good. I mean,
through
hey,
my veins,
guess
and
what?
my siblings are very artsy and
Yeah,
creative.
that's
So
called genetics. And guess what?
mhm.
You can't buy it.
Right.
It's a blessing and a curse because of,
Yeah.
you can, it's a blessing and a curse. If you're an artist, you know what I mean. You'll delve into an idea and just,
Mhm.
it could be 30 days, it could be 2 days, it could be 6 years, and it's
Yeah.
never done. You're always touching it.
Always tweaking it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
the hard part. I
Yeah.
often say, I kind of joke with my bandmates when I'm working on something for the project, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I'll send something over, and I'll send another idea, and then I need a chaperone. Somebody, please send help.
Right.
Make it stop.
Right.
So, other than the show in November,
Mhm.
which is around the corner, we're like 2.5 weeks out.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we're just finalizing the set list. We've got rehearsals on the next 2 Sundays, and then the show is another Sunday. So I think
Mhm.
3 weeks out. But we're excited. We're gonna do. We're just gonna have fun. I think you'll enjoy
Mhm.
the you'll enjoy the band.
Nice.
It's got R&B. It's got
Mhm.
jazz. It's got rock because I'm in it. Um, I'm that guy that has to have. I need a little distortion on this part. But
Nice.
and then Smoochy Face is a really cool band. We actually did a show with them
Mhm.
in the past,
Mhm.
and cool people. And then Shayla, I think it's gonna be a cool night.
Yeah, I think
I don't know
so.
how the flow is gonna go yet. I'll reach out to
Mhm.
Discord, and
Mhm.
then you know try to find out what that schedule is. But
Okay.
do you have anything else coming up? You plan on recording anything new, or can you record at home?
Um,
Let me ask you that.
yeah.
Do you have a home recording setup?
Yeah, I do have set up to be able to record at
Okay,
home.
so you can plug
Mhm.
your guitar into an interface
Mhm.
and then go. Awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
When you record, do you do a click track?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
These days, you have to be on the grid to do
Mhm.
it right, and and mostly to utilize all of the technologies. If you're on the grid and your stuff is tight, you can do
Mhm.
so much with percussions and
Yeah.
just everything.
Yeah.
It's so
I
much
love
fun.
percussion and I love good bass. Like those are
Yeah,
my two favorite. That's one of the things I want for my songs is
rhythm
the way
section.
I play my acoustic guitar. I lean into that bass note. Like that's something that
Yeah,
is prevalent in most of my songs.
yeah,
I just love naturally. I actually bought myself a bass a couple months back,
yeah,
and so I'm planning on trying to learn to play the bass a
yeah.
little bit too,
It's yeah,
because I
yeah,
love it. I
yeah.
just love that
Yeah,
instrument.
it sounds like you like the rhythm section, and that
Yes,
if and
yes.
it's the bottom line. If the rhythm section isn't doing this, or
Mhm.
if it's not happening,
Mhm.
nothing's happening. So
Yeah.
yeah, the rhythm
Mhm.
section. I'm blessed to have great rhythm sections in every band.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
I've got great players in all three
Mhm.
of my projects, and
Nice.
everybody's so different. I often wondered about having a party on a weekend
Mhm.
barbecue, have
Yeah.
everybody that's in my three bands over, and
Yeah.
just mix and match players from each
That would
band.
be cool.
Yeah,
It would basically be like a music shed.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and then film it.
Mhm. That would be nice
I
for the
got
gram.
yeah, I got a Hammond over here. I got
Yeah.
drums, bass. Uh,
I gotta check you guys. I can't wait to hear you
yeah,
now.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. Um,
That's that's really cool.
so what else? Uh, you know, we've talked about video. Okay,
Mhm.
we've talked about video. We've talked about the recording process, the writing process.
Mhm.
Early on in the conversation, you were talking about sitting around with your friend and writing songs.
Mhm.
And when you write, even back then as a kid, were you jotting lyrics down in a notebook? Um,
Yeah, definitely back then because we didn't really have all the technology that we have now.
yeah,
So yeah, but nowadays I have a little memo pad in my phone, like an audio memo.
yeah,
And so I'll be driving and I'll just push record and out just an idea, or I'll be in mid conversation with someone and a song idea pop up and I'll, can
yeah,
you hold on one second? And then I'll sing it really quickly. If I have a notebook, I'll write it down. If I have my phone, I'll type it up real quick.
Yeah.
Just whatever, I will grab whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever I can find.
That is, as much as I hate to be tethered to the phone and with
Hmm.
every email and every phone call and, text
Hmm.
message and, of course, social media, red dots, if it pops up and has a one on it, I'm going to have to click on it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say about the phone is the voice memo function on my phone. It,
Hmm.
I don't typically write too many lyrics, but
Hmm.
the notepad for that. But I record an idea. Hey, I've never played that before. That sounds kind of cool.
Hmm.
Record, and then I've
Hmm.
got a vault of melody ideas,
Yeah.
riff ideas, all this kind of stuff. When you're talking
Hmm.
about in the car and you just have a song come up, would it be
Hmm.
a melody or would it be a topic and verse or chorus, a hook?
It's usually a melody
Yep.
and a lot of times a lyric that comes with it.
Yeah.
Um, varies whether it's like a verse or a chorus. It's
Sure.
usually either a verse or a chorus.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, wouldn't you agree? Well, wouldn't you agree that melody is 82% of the song?
Mm. I think that if you have a great lyric but you don't have no good melody, like
Yeah, it's nothing.
you don't have a good song.
And vice
Because
versa,
if no one
somewhat.
can catch,
Yeah,
yeah, if nobody can catch on,
yeah,
then yeah.
yeah. I would say I would equate great melody to the hook.
Hmm.
The earworm that you can't get out of your head.
Yeah. You know what I do sometimes when
Mm,
I write? I will purposefully not record it sometimes.
mm, that's
And
bold.
I do it to experiment to see if
You can remember it.
it's something that sticks. If it
Yeah,
sticks and I remember it that next day or later on that day or whatever,
yeah,
then I know that I have a song that like, okay, let
yeah.
me let me finish working on this.
Yeah, that's very true. I've got a melody that's been in my head uh, uh, since an event in my family, and this haunting melody has
Mhm.
like I've recorded it so I don't forget it, but just like you're saying, I'll revisit it in the middle of something and
Mhm.
change a couple of feels or notes and it just keeps morphing. So
Mhm.
I'm not in a hurry to finalize and capture that melody because
Mhm.
it's I feel like it's still growing. It,
Yeah.
the idea is still kind of growing, so I'm not in a hurry to go. Okay, that let's get that on tape.
Mhm.
Whereas other ideas I'll have will be like a melody or a riff, a part that comes out. We're like, that's it. Boom, let's go
Mhm.
tape. Let's get it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you know. I feel like something in you like knows when a song is like, you know what? That's
Yeah,
a good one.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna move forward with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I'm in kind of a season of writing right now. I have made a determination that next year I am going to record music and stop playing around
yeah, yeah,
because I sometimes being a little bit perfectionist
yeah,
can cause me to just sit on songs and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And I've written a couple that I really love, and I really want to complete an album. Like that is my
yeah,
goal, is to complete an album. So I'm giving myself the rest of this year to just write and just create,
yeah,
and you know, and then I'm hoping that I can start the process of recording next year.
yeah. Um, there's a bit of a problem that I have when the ideas come like that.
Hmm.
That uh, like if I have a box of uh, Honey Nut Cheerios and a box of Cinnamon Life, and I
Hmm.
open the Cheerios first, I have to finish the Cheerios
Before you can.
before I can go to before I allow myself to go to
Yeah.
the Cinnamon Life. So songs are kind of like that for me. So like when I get an idea, there was a while where I was writing a song every Tuesday, every Tuesday, every
Hmm.
Tuesday. I mean, actually
That's kind of a good
a
idea.
long while. So I have a
Hmm.
vault. I've got a vault
Hmm.
of material. Some of it is, and all of it is at different levels of finished. Like,
Hmm.
but if I start that box of cereal, I have to at least get it to, uh, the drums are 80% there. the bass. There's a bass track. There's the guitar track. There's the melody track. There's Hammonds. All right, we have a bass. There's a song there somewhere. Before, and then I would submit that to hey guys, what do you think of this? Or
Yeah.
put it to another project or whatever. But yeah, commit to starting an idea and finishing it, or you can't get out of your chair.
Yeah.
You're not allowed.
You're on punishment.
Yeah.
I love that.
But you'll get something done that way. And then other advice that I would say, and I think I've said this before, but file management on an external hard drive.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Important.
Yeah. Develop a good. Nobody else has to understand how you file and arrange, but file and arrange in a way that you can kind of figure out what's
Some
what.
kind of structure. I've learned that through working in corporate.
Yeah.
Because in the lane in which I work, we have to be super organized with our files.
Yeah.
And, so I've learned kind of a naming convention for my own self, just to.
Can you elaborate and kind of, because I'm always open for ideas on organization.
Yeah. So for instance, let's see. Making sure that you create folders to, like, for instance, you'll have your songwriting folder perhaps. Maybe you may have on a specific song, you may have a folder once you get to the phase of like copywriting and stuff. Like keep everything in one master folder for each song.
For that song.
And then, you're going to have your actual raw files when you were practicing or writing.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have your actual lyrics. You're going to have all your paperwork, your copyrights, and you say, when you register the song, keep all your PDFs of those, proof of ownership, essentially. Keep all that together. When you get ready to actually submit it to CD Baby or wherever it is that you're going to have it, up so that it's uploaded online. Keep all that stuff together and create folders so that you have a nice record of everything all in one place. You're not looking all over the place, all over your computer, trying to figure out where everything is.
And you do that by song mostly. That's a good idea to have all the legal paperwork. Have a legal folder, then have writing or rough folder, and then boom, your session folder with all your
session
stuff.
When you're
That's a good way to do it. You said something about distribution. Have you used different people? DistroBaby, DistroKid.
I've used DistroKid. I've used CD Baby. I've also used TuneCore.
Yeah,
those have been the main three that I have used.
Yeah. So and just so everybody knows, those three entities all distribute your music to the same places. YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. This seems to be the biggest one that pays the least. And then, you can pick multiple locations. And they all charge an annual or an per album fee. And that per album fee may be annually. So like $52 to put your album up there, but you got to pay $52 every year.
I stay away from the annual ones. CD Baby does, they do the one-time fee or whatever.
Yeah.
But DistroKid definitely, I think, more recently started doing annual, and TuneCore definitely does annual now.
Yeah, there's a couple out there, and where I wanted to go on that was there's a couple of new companies that I've been turned on to, and I can't, because I didn't know I was going to talk about this. I can't tell you which two. There's two of them.
There's one starts with a U.
That charges you nothing but a 10% on what your royalties are.
Okay.
So it'll stay up in perpetuity, based on they're going to get 10%.
But they'll take a cut. How do you feel about that, considering that for you really don't make that much money?
Well, okay. This is a good
good
road to go down. Okay, I've got 3 albums. I've got 3 albums with Hope Sanker. I've got stuff out with Soul Sister. Giza's going to go a different route, but I don't make money on any of that.
Yeah.
So even if there was 10,000 streams, we're talking about
Hmm.
$30. They're gonna take 10% of the $30
Of
that.
like pennies.
Yeah, right. So would you rather
Yeah.
pay that pennies
No. I'd
or
rather I'd
or the
rather
50,
them.
$52 one?
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
52, to make $52 is a lot of streams. And
That's true.
as an artist that, this is why the
Hmm.
podcast is here to maybe get some of us out there. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, I, I'm going to go, I think I'm going to take the 10%
I agree.
at this
I think
point.
that does make sense because at least it's not coming out of your pocket on the front end, and it's not an
Yeah.
astronomical
Yeah.
take on their end,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it matters until you start really making really
Yeah.
big bucks, and then
Yeah.
you're seeing like, whoa, they're making like $2,000
Yeah.
off me,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
I guess if you're doing a Taylor Swift release,
Hmm.
streams 300 million streams, that 10% might change, but
Yeah.
you know those people that are doing that type of volume aren't going to do that. They're going to spend the $50, and
Hmm.
hell, they probably actually have their own companies that do the tune they're doing it themselves. They're going direct,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
yeah, we just
Hmm.
don't have access to those doors.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah,
Well,
distribution's a big thing. Do you do
mhm.
merch? Do you do
I do.
okay.
I have CDs that I pressed up, and then also, sometimes I'll do T-shirts, or I like to make accessories and stuff. So I have like these little bracelets, these little beaded bracelets.
Yeah,
I've been trying to just do
branded.
things because I'm more artsy fartsy. No, not really. They're
Yeah,
just I handmade
yeah,
them. So I like to like throw. I have paintings that I try to sell as well because I just like to incorporate some of like
yeah,
the artsy things that I like to do
yeah,
on my merch table.
yeah. That's a good plan. Do you typically uh, so the merch table,
Hmm.
the merch table. Nobody wants to run it. Nobody
Yeah,
nobody can run it if you're selling your own stuff. Um,
yeah.
it it's it's awkward timing. It has to be at the end of the show. If anybody's going
Yeah.
to buy anything, typically in our formats, you got 17 minutes between the end of your set and when noise is going to start happening with the next band that's sound checking. It's
Hmm.
an awkward thing to have to manage on top of all the social media and all that stuff.
Hmm.
I find that it's hard. When you can capture it, it's great. If you announce a meet and greet after the show and
Hmm.
people stick around and want to buy and hang out,
Hmm.
then that kind of makes sense. But um, it. What do you think about like I mean, at our point, the VIP
Hmm.
pre-show, you're not going to get anybody to come to that as well.
Hmm.
It's just hard to get the attention after a show
Yeah.
if something else is going to happen or
Hmm. I would say sometimes you have to think of different creative avenues,
yeah,
such as you also can sell your brand while you're performing. So wear your t-shirts, wear your merch, and let people know you can grab this either here or you can get it online. Have it available as well, an
yeah,
option for
good
them to
point.
purchase online. Always have a QR code, always, because it's just the easiest way to get them to scan, take them straight to your link tree so they can purchase whichever product, or
Yeah,
whatever. You can say, I'm going to, give away a free gift to the first person who buys a t shirt. Or you can just find ways. You have to put on your marketing cap to find ways to draw attention to your merch in a non like super salesy way
yeah,
to let people know, that they can get your product. So it's just you have to sort of have a multiple avenues
yeah,
mindset when it comes to that. Because yeah, you may get a couple people trickle over to your table. You
yeah,
may get a couple of people to go to your website.
yeah.
You just have to sort of you know
I, I
push it
really
the best you can.
I really like the QR code straight to your
Mhm.
store um,
Mhm.
idea because that's pretty easy to do.
Mhm.
I do a lot of visuals with images I could throw in a QR code on a 5 second hold.
Hmm.
Well, how long do you think a QR code should hang on a screen? 10?
Like minutes,
Yeah. No, 10 seconds.
10 seconds
Yeah.
at least. I
Yeah.
mean, because think
15?
about if a person doesn't have their phone out
Right.
already, I've got to open my phone. I
Yeah.
have to put my code in if I have a code on my phone. So how many
Yeah.
seconds just went by? Probably like 5. I got to
Yeah.
find my camera. So yeah, I would say 10 to maybe 15 seconds
Yeah.
to give people enough time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. You could put, you could put your logo up in the corner of the logo, have about a
Hmm.
quarter, the bottom quarter, a nice
Hmm.
size QR code. Um,
Yeah.
you can say, hey, if you want to hit our store,
Hmm.
get your phone out
Yeah.
and grab this QR code
Yep. Yep.
while they're
Even if
doing
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
if you're a band, like on your bass drum,
Oh,
you
yeah,
could
that's a
put your
great idea.
QR there too.
Yeah.
Like you could find creative on your guitar. I mean, I'm a person that stickers up my guitar. I know that's taboo, but
Eh,
that's what I do for my own
yeah.
thing
Nothing,
because it's just my vibe.
nothing wrong with
So
it.
yeah, but you could put a QR there, or you could put it on your strap, or
Yeah.
you can find creative ways to get people to find you.
Yeah. And having one QR code on the stage, people will be like, oh, hey, I wonder where that goes,
Yeah. Yeah.
before you announce it. But that's a great idea. On
Hmm.
your drum head, uh,
Hmm.
do your advertising on a drum head.
Hmm. Yep.
I'm looking at this drum head right now, a QR code right at the bottom of it. That's
There you
yeah,
go.
done. We're doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's check out this next song. Talk to me about Wildflower.
Hmm. Well, I wrote Wildflowers several years ago. Um, I love this song. It's one of my favorite ones to perform. And sometimes I do it at the very end of my set because it
It's
was written
chill.
for
Yeah.
creatives. It
Yeah.
was written for people that have dreams to get out here and do things, but may sometimes feel the overwhelm of um, wanting things to be perfect. Sometimes you may feel like the finances aren't there to do what you want to do, or you may not be in the place skill set wise that you want to be in order to really
Yeah.
do things. And sometimes we sit on our gifts and our talents because of these different insecurities and frustrations that we have. And so
Procrastination.
Wildflower just represents Wildflowers, how they don't ask for permission to get out and bloom and do the things that they do. They will spring up in a crack in a street,
Yeah.
like they just do what they do, what they've been called to do. And it's important for us to do the same thing, to not be afraid to be imperfect and still get out here and
Yeah.
use our creativity and our gifts. And the bigger picture is that it's not just for you to get out here to be vain and do your thing,
Yeah.
but other people who are coming up need to see, oh, he or she, they are doing it.
Yeah.
Like, right?
They're
They're
trying.
not.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
trying.
they're doing it. They're
Yeah.
actually doing it. They're doing a good job, and watching the journey and the story of how people start with humble beginnings sometimes.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring, and it helps to give people courage. When they see you doing it, they're like, you know what? I don't have everything perfect, but I could still get out here and
Yeah.
sing and write and draw and whatever your creative avenue is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's Wildflower.
There's power
Mhm.
in the inspiration of, seeing somebody and going, I could do that.
Mhm.
And if you inspire somebody to go, I couldn't do that. I want to do that. I can do that.
Mhm.
Then that's a great analogy of
Mhm.
of wildflowers. All right, so here we go.
All right.
Wildflowers.
Wildflower grow, look how your petals rise, glisten in the light. Wildflower grow, color the mountainside, let it come alive. You were made to uplift the nations out their pain and sorrow. You were made to change generations, give them hope for tomorrow. Oh, 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 keep growing and growing and growing. Oh, 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 keep growing and growing and growing. Wildflower grow, be bold where you're planted, used where you've landed. Wildflower grow, live light with abandon, the world is your canvas. You were made to uplift the nations, out their pain and sorrow. You were made to change generations, give them hope for tomorrow. Oh, 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 growing, yeah, yeah. Oh, keep growing and growing. Grow so the ones who don't know who they are can see the creator in you, yeah. Grow so the ones feeling lost and alone can see what trust in the maker can do, yeah. Grow so the ones who don't know who they are can see the creator in you, yeah. Grow so the ones feeling lost and alone can see what trust in the maker can do, yeah. Oh, 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 keep growing and growing and growing. Oh, 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 keep growing and growing and growing. Oh, 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 keep growing and growing and growing. Oh, 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 keep growing and growing and growing. Oh, 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 keep growing, growing, growing.
I really like that acoustic guitar.
Thank you.
So you said earlier that you like to kind of run on the root note. Are you using a thumb pick? What do you use a regular pick? Or fingers? How do you play acoustic?
I use a pick sometimes. When I'm plucking like that, though, I like to use my fingers.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're finger picking that
Yeah.
part. How
And
hard?
I'll use my pick sometimes for like rhythm guitar, like
Sure.
when I want it to be a nice heavy,
Yeah,
you know.
and that's a big that's a drastic change for acoustic guitar players should know. Um, the finger picking players are going to be very, intricate, arpeggiated on the click, tight. But when you go into an open strumming, it really opens up a song. And you can have like open strumming all through the song and be too busy, but mixing and matching those two parts is a really good idea.
Yep.
How long did that track take to cut?
That one took a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It was the first of a series of singles that I had done at that time. But I worked with a really great producer. It was so long ago, but I worked with a producer back home in Maryland. It was fun. It
Yeah.
was. I went in and I laid my guitar,
Yeah.
and then just started laying my vocals and my harmonies, and it just kind of came together. I think at that time I kind of organically created my harmonies while I was
They were
in the
good.
studio
Yeah,
session.
they were good.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. It
I
came
really like
together,
it.
and then he built the rest of the track after I had recorded.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you say that the producer, you know, they're just as much an artist and with their plug-in choices or, restructuring some form, harmony, melody ideas. I mean, that's your pit crew chief. If you were a NASCAR race team, that would be your pit crew chief, and
Yeah.
you have to listen to them. You don't have to always agree with them, and they don't have to always win. but you
Mhm.
have to let yourself be directed. A chaperone. I talked about it earlier.
Mhm.
That's a producer is your chaperone in the
Yeah.
studio, but he's yeah,
A good producer that has a really great ear,
yeah, yeah, and
and knows what to
experience.
do with your style of music as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
Mhm.
And it amazes me sometimes. I'll hear about producers that 100% in the past have been hip hop producers, and then they'll do a country song or something out of the ordinary, or vice
Mhm.
versa. A country producer, boom, gets onto a pop track, and
Mhm.
it can all intermingle. And I think that's kind of
Yeah.
where we're at musically. Is there's country songs that are rock songs.
Mhm.
There's I mean it's kind of cool how things are morphing and playing together.
Mhm.
In sandbox. But
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
really like that. Do you know the BPM of that song by chance?
Oh my goodness.
Is that in your folders?
Probably in my phone.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
So that's one of my sticklers.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
that that master folder that you were talking about. When I save it,
Mhm.
um, I save it in the master folder as, uh, you know, uh, tobacco burst, 83 BPM.
Mhm.
You know,
That is a good idea to put it in your title,
yeah.
like in your title of your song. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that way you're not digging. You don't have to open a session and go,
Yeah.
what was that? Okay, that was 76. Oh, that was
Exactly.
104. Oh,
Yeah.
it's all right there for you. So when I name things, I type the BPM, name of the
Mhm.
song, and
Mhm.
if it changes, as a lot of songs will change, it'll be
Mhm.
called this, but by the time everybody gets involved, it's now called this. So you have to,
Mhm.
you know, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll make another folder
Mhm.
with the new name, and I'll just drag the old folder into that one so it's underneath. So now I
Mhm.
know it's called Ignite,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. You might even want to
83,
put your
83 BPM.
exactly. You might even want to put your key, the key
Yeah,
of the song as well.
yeah, yeah, that never hurts, knowing the
Mhm.
key. And then if you're sharing it with other people, do you, okay, good angle here. If you're sharing
Mhm.
said folder
Mhm.
with other people in your project,
Mhm.
what are you using to do that? I use
Mhm.
Dropbox. I'm an
Mhm.
older Dropbox guy, so I've got
Mhm.
a couple terabyte in there. But what do you use?
I use Google Drive just because I have the Google Drive, like the
Sure.
2 terabyte,
Yeah. So
or the one, I think 1 or 2 terabytes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So did you upgrade, or is that their standard?
it's an upgrade.
Hmm.
Their standard is something like 500 megabytes or 500 gigs, something like
Well,
that.
I think their initial was
Hmm.
like maybe 16 gig 32.
Yeah.
And back in the day, that used to be a lot. That
Hmm.
used to be a lot. It was
Hmm.
like 16 gig. Oh my. And
These files are huge now, so it's
yeah,
like
and it's
you can
better
use it
though.
up.
It's better though. The
Hmm.
reason the files are bigger is because the quality's getting better and all like and all that stuff. But I've got 20 terabyte of storage now
Hmm.
over in my
I think it's still important to back up on an actual external device, because what if something happens?
yeah,
I always think about this. I have so much stuff saved online. And
yeah,
it's like, what if something happens and all of a sudden everything is wiped?
yeah,
Like the way that all these cyber attacks, all these things that are happening now,
yeah,
we have no guarantees that our stuff is really honestly safe
yeah,
online.
yeah. Now you're going down my rabbit hole there. Um, that's a very good point because um, I had a laptop in a hard. It was like a a briefcase. It had my laptop, my external hard drive, um, a lot of music,
Mhm.
and a guitar like that one, stolen out of my car.
Oh
And
no.
just like that, like 8 months, a year worth of ideas and work, and one of my favorite guitars I ever had was
Mhm.
gone.
Oh
There,
man.
there's that aspect. But then you're talking about storing everything. You can't store everything on the cloud. I use the cloud as a distribution service to
Mm-hmm.
my players and my family. And hey,
Mm-hmm.
here's a link. Check this out. This is what I'm working on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still always in my vault. I
Mm-hmm.
call it Alcatraz, my main
Mm-hmm.
drive over there. And
Yeah.
and you know, if there's no power, there's no internet. If there's no internet, we don't have computers.
Yep.
If it gets to that, we're all playing finger picking acoustic guitar again.
Yes.
You know. So I guess the moral of the story is
That's so interesting.
have an acoustic guitar
Somewhere, so you can
somewhere.
still create.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
that's nuts. Um, well, I appreciate you coming on, and I know we have a show coming
Absolutely.
up, and it's been a great conversation. I
Hmm.
look forward to meeting you in person.
Yeah, me too.
Um, what are your plans day of show? And that
Hmm.
leads me to a thing I like to ask. Um,
Hmm.
if it's gig day, like so on
Hmm.
the 18th, I believe it's a Saturday.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
When I wake up that morning, my wife is like, "Happy gig day."
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
cute.
and it's focused like that to where I'm like, okay, I've got a checklist. I got to make sure I have this
Yeah.
gear, this cable, that gear, this cable, that gear, this cable, that gear. Set list. We need them all printed out. Okay, we got a set list. We're all. It's just I get pretty manic about the
Mm.
preparation process to even show up. And she's like, "How can I help you?" And
Oh.
and she's like, I was like, "Well, could you get my gig clothes together? What do you want me to wear?
Right.
You're in charge of what I wear." And
Yeah.
uh and so she helps out and grabs that stuff. And what is your gig day preparation like for
Mm.
you? Is it manic like mine?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I usually try to do it. I try to do as much as I can the night before.
Yeah.
Things like you said, set lists, all of that kind of stuff. Make sure all my electronics are good. If I need my lyrics on my iPad, I make sure that I have a Google Doc that has all of those lineups
Yeah.
there. I make sure I have all my chords, all my like I do. I created myself a list on my
Yeah.
notes on my phone,
Sure.
and I make sure that I have all my like everything. I don't wait until the last minute where I'm panicked and trying to get out the house
Yeah, you
before
can't.
I start trying to think of stuff because I will forget something.
Yeah.
So I usually pack everything up, if not the night before, earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And I'll try to pack my car up before I like start getting dressed and stuff because then I'm gonna get all like sweaty and
Sweaty.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get all that in my car and then I get myself together and stuff.
Yeah.
And I always try to plan well ahead because I do not like being late for gigs. I'd rather be the first person in the
Sure.
parking lot sitting and waiting than to be late for gigs. So I try to give myself, especially with Atlanta traffic,
Yeah.
because we all know how that is.
Yeah.
I try to give myself some extra time to get to gigs.
Yeah. I like to call it respecting the stage. Respect the
Hmm.
stage that you're about to go on, no matter how big it is or how
Hmm.
small. Um,
Hmm.
and respecting the stage is the night before. Do you change strings or the night before? Or do you? Yeah,
No.
I get
Be-
nervous.
yeah, because my strings will be like,
Yeah.
wobbling,
Yeah.
and so if I gotta change my strings, I try to do it earlier in a week
Yeah.
when I know I have a gig.
How many days is a comfortable? How many days before a show and how many plays before a show?
Hmm.
Meaning, you change the strings 4 days and before, and
Hmm.
then on day two you really play the guitar a good
Yeah,
bit.
you have to because you have to, and you gotta pull and
Yeah, stretch.
try to make sure the strings get their stretch, get proper stretching in.
Yeah,
Because if you do that on gig day, sometimes you're gonna have the tuning's just gonna constantly be off.
yeah,
You might play one song and be good, and the next song then it's
yeah,
sounding wonky.
yeah,
So I give myself probably I would change my strings on maybe a Monday, Tuesday,
yeah,
and play it throughout the week to just continue to stretch my strings
yeah,
and just get them
yeah.
manipulated into shape.
That's exactly how I feel too. I get
Mm-hmm.
like I get really nervous if it's 2 days out and I break a
Mm-hmm.
string. If I break a string on one
Mm-hmm.
of mine, um,
Yeah.
I got to change them all, and then it's crunch time. And
Yeah.
but you never feel comfortable. So
No.
you do all this stuff, and that's what I'm talking about. You do all this stuff
Mhm.
the week leading up to a show because you care and you want your show to
Mhm.
be tight. You've already
Mhm.
thought about your transitions, and you get loaded up. You get cleaned
Mhm.
up. You're all dressed up. Uh, you drive to the gig. You're pulling out of the driveway. Is your
Mhm.
mind racing? What am I forgetting?
Sometimes I still get nervous,
Yeah.
even though I've been doing music forever.
Yeah.
But here lately, I would say as of this year, I have made a promise to myself that I am not going to allow myself to. I'll say to myself as I'm driving, we're not doing nerves. We're
Yeah.
having fun. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Everything is going to, I literally pep talk myself.
Yeah.
Everything is going to go as it should. You've been practicing. You know your songs, you know
Yeah.
your lyrics. You're going to have a great show. This is going to be fun. You're going to make some friends. You're going to meet new people.
Yeah.
This is going to be a blast.
Yeah.
And I tell myself that, and I coach myself just like I
Yeah.
would if I was a football coach or a
Yeah.
basketball coach, to get my heart and my mind
Yeah.
ready to enjoy myself, because when we get so caught in the technicalities, it sucks the fun out of what we
Yeah.
do. And it's
Well,
fun. Like, I enjoy doing
you
music.
become a robot on stage
Mm-hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
that happens, and
Yeah.
it's very noticeable to the crowd. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
they can pick up on that vibe for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's hitting on all cylinders and you're relaxed and you're like, okay, we're just gonna have fun,
Yeah.
and that's typically when you have the great show, and that's when you need to
Mm-hmm.
have your Zoom Q2N 4K
Ready.
to capture, a
Yeah.
possible magic spot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun road we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that you're gonna become a millionaire. You're gonna
Yeah.
spend a million before you make a million for sure.
That's true. That's
Um,
true.
Last thing, you talked about when we were talking about merch. You talked about
Mm-hmm.
CDs.
Mm-hmm.
My band keeps going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Are CDs worth doing?
Mm-hmm.
People have cars now. Should we do thumb drives and just put the catalog on a thumb drive they can put in their car and it'll play?
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of leaning toward thumb drives, T-shirts,
Mm-hmm.
stickers, some CDs, most
Mm-hmm.
leftover from past purchases. But I
Mm-hmm.
think merch is changing. I like the idea that you're doing personalized jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But CDs, what do you think?
I think CDs. One of my friends actually told me that it's still important to do CDs, and I agree. I've had people buy CDs from my gigs,
Yeah,
especially the older generation. They
yeah,
still like CDs.
yeah,
I buy CDs of my friends just so the novelty of it, just to
yeah,
have it as, my friend has a CD out. I'm gonna,
yeah,
just to have it. But what I did was, first I pressed up my own CDs. I found these cute. They look like little records.
yeah. Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
found those,
I've
yeah,
seen
and
those.
then
Yeah,
I designed and printed my own little face or whatever. I kept it very simple and
yeah,
humble, and it looks like a little record and it's cute. So if you do a CD, just find a cute little way that makes people. You got to think in the vein of a keepsake.
yeah,
So you want it to feel like a little keepsake
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, and then
Um,
sign it. If you sign it,
mhm,
that's even better.
yeah.
Now, when you say that you have that, you burning those, or so
I'm
you're
burning it old school. I have an
as
old
needed?
school CD. Yep, I have an old school CD burner. I
Nice.
print the faces up on my printer.
Yeah,
And I'm just kind of doing DIYing what I can,
yeah.
to save money.
That might be the way to be doing it actually instead
Yeah.
of
Just because I
pressing them.
know that I don't need 300 CDs from CD Baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I just need a 10 or 15 at a
Yeah,
gig
yeah.
to just in case someone wants to buy it.
They do like disc makers is somebody I use, and they've got
Mm-hmm.
100 CD packages for $199.
Mm-hmm.
That
That's not bad.
No, it's not too bad. A $200 investment. You got CDs for the year or 2 years or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, but I do like your idea of having the vinyl. Vinyl's coming back,
Mm-hmm.
and I just literally got an ad today. 100 vinyl records.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure about how much artwork is on the inside or any of that, but 100 records
Mm-hmm.
for $999.
Wow.
So you're talking about printing 100 records for $1,000.
Hmm.
That's $10 a record.
Yeah.
So you have to sell it for $20.
I would sell it for even more than that, 30 to
Yeah,
$40,
yeah,
to be honest, because they're novelty. They're, you know, and people who have record players, I mean, I think they expect to pay a little something, something
yeah,
for records.
yeah. It was. I was kind of surprised at how much more expensive it was for vinyl,
Mm,
and
absolutely.
I don't even have a record player, so but I
Yeah.
could. I wonder what our music would sound like on record though.
Really good. I've heard that records sound
Yeah,
better than CDs.
yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Well, I mean that was always the thing.
Hmm.
When CDs came out, the quality's not as good, blah blah blah, and then we've just
Hmm.
gotten used to now. Okay, we're hearing something streamed with some earbuds, and we're
Yeah.
like, okay, that sounds pretty good,
Yeah.
not realizing what we're actually missing. I think
Right.
it's just kind of dumbing down a bit of what we will accept.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so many choices of a final platform, the streaming,
Hmm.
CDs. Like I said, thumb drives are a good way to go if you have a
Hmm.
whole catalog.
Yeah.
$25 for the entire three album with two videos on it type of thing.
Hmm.
That's a good way to go. Well, the video screw up plugging it in the car, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's important to be your own marketing agent and
Hmm.
on top of writing and recording and
Absolutely.
guitars. Last thing, what
Hmm.
what are you playing?
So I have an Ibanez Art Core guitar.
Can I see it? Which one is it?
Hmm. Let me see.
If it's the Brown 335, I'm going to be amazed.
Let's see. I'll show you all my babies.
Dang it, it's really close. Yeah, yep, that's the same one. That guitar, I bought one of those and I played a show with it, and I was like, man, this guitar is cool, but it can't handle the rock and roll that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I handed it off to somebody. What do you got there?
This is my Ibanez bass
Good,
guitar.
nice.
Yeah,
Standard tune.
and then I have one more. Hold on one second.
Yeah, that's what you play most,
Okay.
isn't it?
This is my baby.
Yeah.
Let me put my earphones back on. I can hear you. Hold on. All right.
Yeah, that's
So
the
this is
that's
my
your
baby.
baby.
This is the main one.
Yeah, the acoustic guitar. It's got electronics. You can just plug it in.
Yep. It is acoustic electric.
Yep.
Plug in right here. This poor guitar though has a crack on it. So recently it fell and it has a crack on the neck all the way down to here. So it's kind of messing with my tuning
Yeah.
a little bit. So
Yeah, you got to be
but
careful
yeah.
with those type of headstocks. Anything is
Mhm.
slanted headstock. If you drop it or bang it,
Mhm.
there's so much tension at that
Yeah.
nut there that it's gonna crack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks. When you plug in
So
your acoustic, are you going straight into a direct box for them, or do you have any
I
kind?
like to. I typically like to. I do have a Fender amp,
Yeah,
just in case, and I take it's so heavy, so
yeah,
I hate taking it to gigs if I don't have to.
yeah,
But I do have it as a backup. But usually I like to go direct line.
yeah. Have you thought
Mhm.
about running into a preamp pedal of some sort and then going into the house?
Yeah, I have a head rush where I can
Oh,
do that through there.
okay,
Of course, that's like a little effects
sure.
system, but
Do you have reverb
I
and
don't have like just regular. Yeah, it
yeah,
has reverb in there,
yeah,
delay,
yeah,
and just a lot of other little effects and stuff
yeah, that's
in
cool.
there. So,
I
hmm
think that's always a good idea,
yeah,
flex your tone a little bit and
sounds good.
yeah,
Like my dad actually helped me
dial it.
set up a couple of presets
Yeah.
so for gigs. So yeah,
Uh, well, I look forward to the 18th, and
yeah.
you're in Conyers, so I think our show is on a Saturday. You're probably going to get there
Hmm.
at 6 o'clock.
Hmm.
I think this place that we're playing has really good chicken wings.
Oh,
So
okay.
I would start
I'm
with
actually vegan.
Oh no.
I'm vegetarian vegan. I'm mostly vegan, but I've been dabbling a little bit in cheese the last
Yeah,
probably some
cheese.
months.
Cheese, man.
It's hard, right?
As a kid, I hated it. Like it
Yeah,
was disgusting, and now I'm like, oh, that I like
kind of
that.
yummy.
I like that, and I like that.
It's
So
pizza. Pizza and mac and cheese are really the only two things that get me. But I'm cutting it back out because I can feel the difference. Like
yeah,
my
yeah,
body doesn't like it.
yeah.
So,
A lot of people, lactose is not
hmm
for them. Especially if you go to a period of time where
hmm
you're not eating it, and then you
yeah,
go into it, it could be a
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
But
yeah.
all right. Well, sounds great. I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hang on the line. We'll chat afterwards, and
Okay.
we'll see you then. All
Um,
right. See ya.
yeah.
You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gaffman.